My next guest has lived quite the life. He's traveled all over the world, working with some of the biggest names in the hairstyling industry. Vidal Sassoon in London, Loreal in Paris, John Paul Mitchell, and Jacques Dessange in New York. No doubt a hairstylist by heart, but now he adds a new title, that of author. With us this morning is Giulio Veglio, author of A Slap on the Back of the Head. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, no, I'm glad you're here. I got to tell you, when I first picked up the book, I said, a slap on the back of the head. What's that?
That means that's how my father used to wake me up every day, not for school, but just for life in general. It was a good slap on the back of the head.
Kind of like my dad, you know, that slap, wake up.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
What are you thinking about? What's the matter for you?
Back on track.
Yeah, I think we all need a few of those slap on the back of heads these days, but.
And let's talk about your family. You are from Italy. Your mom and dad were born and raised there, right?
Yes, and so was I.
Talk to me about that.
Well, I was born in Italy. We came over when I was about 5 years old. They had quite the great life, but my dad and my mom decided that because of the economy, they were going to come here. They were going to give us the American dream. They gave up everything, the selfishness of, you know, everything for them, and turned it all for everything for us.
And I know for you it was hard because you were only 5 when you came to the States. And no doubt a new language, new culture, new friends. And I read in your book, pretty tough times for you.
You know, I was bullied quite a bit when I was younger. And I didn't know that I had what they call learning disabilities. I call them gifts today. Mm-hmm. You know, I was diagnosed later on in my years with ADD, OCD, and dyslexia, and phonics challenges. So I wasn't the best student. However, it was rough because that, you know, being down by teachers and being bullied, your self-esteem was pretty low. I had quite a rough time. I
can only imagine. But yet you really made it, and you kept moving forward, which you talk about in your book a lot. And you make it to college, but yet one day you tell your father, and I'm sure he gave you a slap in the back of the head, that you were not going to finish college.
Believe me, I was ducking when I was trying to tell him at the same time because I didn't know what was going to come. But
I can imagine what my dad would have done to me.
But yeah, you know, letting them know that, you know, this wasn't for me. I was trying to think of any excuse to make them proud of me. I'm like, I'll go in the Marines. Maybe they'll shake me up. And, you know, that was tough. But Dad just stood there with that stare. Mm-hmm. That was worse than a slap. That disappointment. You know, your brother's a doctor, and what are you going to be now? You know, change your name. It's pretty much is what he was saying through those eyes.
And then you tell your dad you're going to become a hairstylist. I'm going to assume that did not go over well.
No, he was probably thinking, is there more you want to tell me? But first of all, it was full of pretty girls. Who doesn't want to go to school with, you know, there's all pretty girls. Well, that's one incentive to get there. But as I did that, I knew I had a gift that I didn't understand I had before. Mm-hmm. And it came naturally, and it was fun, and it was addicting. I had a passion for it. And
you really became successful, Giulio. I mean, you really became a very famous hairstylist and successful in your own business.
I had so much passion for it that I did it for the love, not for the money. Okay. I knew the money would be the applaud for the great job that I've done, but my father, most importantly, you know, he went from that disgusted look, even though he supported me, to that, okay, you got it going on. You know, you're not your brother, you're not the doctor, but okay, you're doing well.
So we're accepting now.
Yeah, so I get to keep the last name.
You get to keep the You get to cut his hair, too.
That was the one thing I thought in the beginning he wouldn't let me do. But as we got more comfortable, you know, I would tease him as I was cut his hair, and I'm telling him I'm going to make him look like Frank Sinatra. I was going to make him look like this. And, you know, so we did have some fun time, even though he was a very strict man. I
know a turning point for you also is when you get married and you have 2 beautiful boys. Tell me about your kids and what that did for you.
Oh, having 2 boys, you know, even though he wasn't there to slap me, you could feel the slap. You know, like, wake up, now you got 2. How are you going to teach them? What are you going to give them like I gave you? The etiquette, the respect, the integrity, and you got to model that process like I modeled it for you. Mm-hmm. So everything comes back, and I took that seriously too, and that's how I raised my kids.
It's a great autobiography. What inspired you to write it?
It wasn't a story about me. It was a story about letting people know that, you know, through acts of love, life lessons, that you can have that journey to success, no matter what your past was like, no matter how many failures, which I call discoveries. They're not failures, they're discoveries. And you learn from your discoveries, and you can do anything you want when you fall in love with you first. And when you fall in love with yourself, you can make it anywhere.
To end, I know your dad played a huge role in your life, and I know he passed on, and in your book you write about seeing him for the last time. It's pretty poignant what you did. Can you read to my viewers?
I would love to.
That part of the book?
I have a chapter here at the end that I'll share with you. At the funeral home, I was invited to give him a last haircut. I went into the embalming room, and I found him on a stainless steel table waiting for me. I cut my father's hair for the last time. And as I did, I continued to think about all that I had learned from my father. It was silent, it was quiet, but he was laying there as if he was smiling, and I could hear him speaking to me in a sense of, I'm proud of you, you're successful, I've done well, you've learned everything, go on and teach it to everyone else, and thanks for the great haircut.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Great story. Thank you, Giulio.
If you'd like to read A Slap on the Back of the Head, simply go to the website visionaryfreak.com.